and I might be talking to the next future prime minister of Sweden. All right,
I wish.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, Ibbi.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to my kitchen. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
It's good to have you. I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Yes.
Well, I actually feel a little bit bad because like we were talking about before we started, and I was like, we haven't really met that much. I mean, apart from the family gatherings, but this is the first time we actually gonna get to talk and kind of get to connect.
Definitely, yeah.
But I feel a little bit bad because it had to take on a podcast for us to be able to do it.
No, you know, life comes between. You know, you're having a baby. You know, I do my stuff. I have work, and you know.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone's
I mean,
busy.
but you're a busy girl.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, but I'm glad we're finally doing this.
Yeah, me too.
It's exciting.
I'm excited. And this is actually my first podcast for anyone who's listening. And it's also in English, and English is my first language. So,
you're going to do well.
You got to bear with me.
You're going to do well.
Yeah, I hope so.
No stress. It's not an interview, so it's pretty chill. Just relax, and we can talk about whatever, you know. But like I said, so you're kind of a celeb in this country. So I understand if you have a lot of things that, you know, to do all the time.
Yeah,
you know, I totally understand.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, if I'm wrong, correct me.
Yes.
You're a human rights activist.
Exactly, yeah.
You are the co-founder of the Black Lives Matter Stockholm.
Exactly.
You're a DJ, you're a model, and you won an award for the Anders Carlberg Young Role Model of the Year, which was in 2020.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this one I had to Google.
Yeah?
It says the town Santas. I don't know whether Ortens something.
Ortens Tomtenissar. Yeah. So it's like Santa's little helpers. Or like, I don't know the correct translation, but yeah.
I Google translated and said the town Santa. And when I Googled it, I found a cartoon show or something. It is actually called...
That's not me.
That's called the Town Santas, which was I thought that was kind of the the idea for that. I was like, I told my wife, I was like, did she watch this maybe? No. That's why it's called the Town Santa. So like, what is it really about? What is the Town Santas really about?
So it's about like... So me, my friend Olivia, she's also really involved in stuff, you know, an activist. She does stuff for the community. So a lot of our conversations are about like, you know, stuff that's going on, you know, poverty, political issues. So we just had a FaceTime. And was like, okay, you know, it's a pandemic, you know, a lot of people are struggling, especially young people. Yeah. And, you know, so Christmas.
This happened in the pandemic you guys started?
Exactly. Okay. It was also 2020, December 2020. So this was just like before Christmas. And, you know, Christmas can be very hard for young people, you know, who doesn't have money, or, you know, people out in the suburbs, or like Orten, as we say here, förorten. So we were like, okay, but we want to do something for the kids. What can we do? So yeah, we landed in Ortens Tomtenissar. So we raise money, and then, you know, we get them Christmas gifts, and then we deliver.
So you do this. You have been doing this since 2020 now.
Exactly.
You're gonna do it this year too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So people people donate and stuff like that. So you handle. Yeah. Do you think about the gifts you need to get, or do you guys just go and just get whatever?
I think the first time, because, you know, we have an Instagram, so the whole process is like a kid writes to us, they DM us on Instagram asking for a gift, and then, you know, we write their name up. And I think it was about 100 kids that wrote to us the first year. And we had enough money to get them like specific gifts. So we went out and, you know, we got them what they wanted. But the year after, I think it was about 220 kids that wrote to us. So it wasn't really time effective to buy everyone specific gifts, you know. So we had to do it more like, you know, give them the same
stuff. Yeah. So it's not different. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Like a package and then.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah. that's what we did.
And now, how do you choose like the kids? Like every year has to be like different, or do you guys have to deliver to the same people? Or
our policy was like, you know, any kid who writes gets a gift. So like I think last year we did like, we had our DM open for like maybe 24 hours. And then 220 kids wrote to us, and then we had to close it because, you know, we need to.
Has to be a limit.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be a limit.
But that's great. I'm glad you're doing stuff like this. I mean, you seem like a very nice, caring, humble person.
Thank you.
I mean, not like so seriously.
I
mean,
do my best.
Like in the Muslim community, people don't really do these kind of things, you know. And I mean, of course, we're not in a Muslim country, but like even outside of you know, like Sweden or whatever, like people don't really do this, and it saddens me when I see you know, you're doing this for your community, for your culture, and where I'm from, people don't do that, and we're supposed to give gifts in Eid and all these other days. But I think especially when it comes to children, just, you know, giving them, you know, what they need is very important.
Definitely. And I think people like, you know, in Sweden, because Sweden is a country, you know, a rich country, you know. I think people outside of Sweden has this picture of Sweden as being so great and so good. And it is in many ways, but there's also, you know, a large community that's struggling and, you know, are poor. So that's a really important topic to touch and talk about.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's great. But I haven't been on social media for a while, as you know. I kind of took a break from social media. But, I mean, the last time I checked, you were doing a lot of things. Whether you were on posters outside or you're on TV, like modeling, or like whatever that you're doing. Like, what have you been up to lately? Because I'm off.
What have I been up to?
Yeah, what's new with your life these days? Yeah, I mean, anything, your daily life, like
my daily life. I work at a school. Yeah, it's like a special needs school. So all our students, you know, they have different, like, how do you say? Not problems, but like diagnosis.
Okay. That's the work that you do.
Exactly. Okay. So that's like my main like source of income. So that's what I do. Like on the weekdays, I work 9 to 5 every day. And what else do I do?
Are you going to school like like part time?
No,
you're doing full time as well.
No. I'm done with my school.
Oh, you're done with school now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm done with school. So I think you were at my graduation, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was for that.
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't. So I don't study anymore.
No,
but
I thought you were like maybe, you know, going to like higher education or something like another degree.
Not right now.
Okay.
So now I'm just working, but what have I been up to?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's been a lot.
But you've been you recently went to the award show.
Yeah, exactly.
You won. Is it the same? The Anders Carlberg.
Exactly.
What is that about? Like, who's Anders Carlberg, by the way?
Anders Carlberg. He is the founder of Fryshuset, and Fryshuset is like, I don't know how to explain or like break down Fryshuset, but it's like a community or like a place for young people to you know evolve. They have schools. They have different, like, how do you say verksamhet? Different
programs,
you know, programs exactly, and you know stuff. I went to school there. Okay. It's like a place for young people to be creative, and you know, they have basketball, they have dance, they have music, they have everything. And in Sweden, I think Fryshuset is kind of known for the work they do for young people. And Anders Carlberg was the founder. So
of that. Okay.
He passed a few years ago. I don't know. I'm not sure when. But he passed a few years ago. And then they did like a Anders Carlberg Foundation. Where they, how do you say? People can get awarded for working in his exactly.
Okay.
For working in his spirit, you know.
That's really good. And so when you won the role model, I mean, I feel like it's kind of a big deal, you know, at such a young age, like winning something like that. Like, how did it make you feel? Did you feel like that you were responsible for, or like having you're gonna have a certain responsibility on your, you know, on yourself winning something like that? Because I feel like we're living in a society now that I would say we don't really have a lot of great role models anymore, you know, and people are following really, I feel like, bad people, you know. Or at least I would say, what is the definition of what a young role model is? For me, I would say it's someone like you know, because
Thank you.
I mean, no, seriously, like you're giving a lot, you know, you're doing a lot of activism work and all these things. I feel like that should be kind of, like, if I would say what a role model is supposed to be. So like, how was it for you winning something like that?
I was so happy and grateful, and, you know, I think like when I got the phone call, I was crying. I started crying because
it meant that much.
Yeah, it meant so much. And not only like for me, because I wouldn't say like it's my prize, because, you know, with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I'm not, you know, responsible myself. It was a whole village, like, you know, a whole community, a whole Sweden standing up for Black people's rights, you know. So I think like when I did the speech, like on the award show, I said, this is not my prize. It's, you know, everyone who's anti-racist, this is all of our prize.
True.
And I think like the how do you say the motive? How do you say
the motive? The motive.
Not the motive, but like the I think the reason I got the prize was because like when the Black Lives Matter movement went down, I received a lot of threats and, you know, hate and stuff.
I didn't know about that.
No. But yeah, I did, from racists, from, you know, normal Swedish people. It was letters, it was phone calls, it was just massive. Massive.
That's crazy.
And it was a lot for me to handle, of course, you know. So I think the people in Fryshuset, they thought I did it. Like I handled it. You
handled it pretty well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I can't imagine having to, you know, having the bravery, first of all, to do something like that. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's such a big deal. I mean, did you have any role models, like growing up, like people that you looked up to?
Of course. My sister, my sister's friends, you know, my mom, and just like people that you meet like on the daily, like in work, and, you know.
And I'm glad you say that. There's a lot of people, when you ask them your role models, they say things like Jay-Z, Rihanna, or like some people, you know, you don't even get to know you don't know those people. Exactly. You know, like for me, growing up, I've had sport role models because I loved football when I was growing up. So Ronaldinho, Wayne Rooney, or whatever. But as I grew much older, like my father was kind of my role model for me. Not because of he was successful in his business, but he was like such a giving person. He was so humble and nice, and he worked really hard. And I kind of wanted to be like that. You know. Yeah. So I'm glad that you say something like that, because your sister, she works really hard, and
she
people
does.
that are around you, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like that's the type of people who inspires me, you know. Just like people, humble people, like you said, good people doing what they love, and, you know. Yeah.
And you talked about the Black Lives Matter movement. And like, how did you even start that? Like, how does one start a movement? Like did you have, like, who did you get in contact with? Who did you call? Like how did it all start?
How did it happen? So the movement has been going on for like before everything happened to George Floyd in 2020 or in May 2020.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace. before all of that went down, the Black Lives Matter movement, it was there before that, right? It had been a movement for some time.
You're talking about the one in America?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I think like when everything went down with George Floyd, and we saw the movement, getting bigger around the world, not only in the US but in the UK, like in other countries across the globe.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, we need to do something here as well, because Sweden isn't like protected from these kinds of issues. We have a lot of racism here.
Yeah.
Black people are suffering here as well, so I think there was a few people who had already, started something here and was supposed to do a protest, but I think this was so long ago, so I don't really remember like all the details, but I think there was like a few young girls who weren't black who was arranging this. And I was just like, that didn't really sit right with me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, but this is not like, why are you doing this? Maybe they just wanted to be allies. I don't know. But so me and two other girls, I think I wrote in a group where I saw there was a separatistic, is that how you say, separate group for black girls on Facebook, and I saw this girl posting something about this, and she had the same thoughts as me.
A black girl.
Yeah, exactly. So I reached out to her and I was like, yo, why don't like you and I just do something? So we did, and we got in touch with this third girl. And these girls, their names are Mona and Queen. Shout outs.
Shout out.
So yeah, we spoke, and we just, made an Instagram account and started to promote the protest.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So when I found out, like, I didn't know it was actually you, like, until recently, actually. That's why I'm saying we never really connect. It had to take a podcast for me to find out so many of these things. It's a little bit sad. But,
and it's hard because, it's not like I walk around and tell people this, so it's impossible for you to know,
Yeah, but so you guys did a protest, and it was like a lot of people in the protest, because I remember I was having long distance with Emma, and she actually went to the protest. Like, was like there was a lot of people that show up. Did you guys like
it was
started
huge.
This you guys basically organized the protest, or like
exactly and I think like, because like I told you, there was already like this group of girls arranging something. And it wasn't like we hijacked their protest, but like kinda, because they had already like made.
So wait, were they already doing, like, did they plan to do a protest as well, or like?
Yeah, and it was just very messy because the black community reacted and was like, "Yo, why is there white people trying to do a Black Lives Matter protest?" So we were like, "Okay, but let's just do it." Ourselves, So I think this was like maybe 3 days before the actual protest was. So I think we had like, I spoke to Mona and Queen, and we arranged the whole thing in like 2 days, I think.
Wow, that fast.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it was like in the middle of Corona as well. Like the pandemic was massive, and we were like, okay, but how are we gonna do this? And by then, in Sweden, they how do you say? There was this new law, the pandemic law that they, founded in Sweden.
The pandemic law.
Yeah, and the law said that you can't you can't be more than 50 people at like.
Oh shit.
At once. So we were like, okay, how are we gonna do this, And it was so weird because the day of the protest, I get a phone call from a police officer, and he was like, "Hi, are you Ibbi?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And he was like, "Yeah, I've heard that you are arranging a protest today." And I was like, "Oh shit," But he was just really, really kind and was like, okay, but you need a permit to do it. So I'm going to give you a permit.
Oh, wow.
So he gave us a permit.
Officer, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of the officers here are white, man.
You know, it's funny. I sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No.
I was an extra. I was on a film.
Yeah.
And then I was dressed as a black police officer, which was really
that's
weird.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna be seen in some film, and it's with that actor. What's his name again? The one that did the Yalla Yalla. Faris or something.
Faris, yeah.
Which was so weird because
that's
I'm like,
cool, man.
I've never seen a black Swedish police officer. You know?
I think I've seen one.
Oh.
But that's a woman. So if a black female officer, that's kind of cool.
That's cool. You know, women are more brave to do this.
These
things.
So the police officer called me and he gave me the permit, but it was only for 50 people because that were the rules, you know. So like when we promoted the protest, we had to promote it as we were only going to be 50 people. So I was like, you know, we only have a permit for 50 people, so, you know, see you there.
Hell no.
And then, you know, we came there. And all of a sudden it was 10,000 people. It was just massive,
the margin,
man.
50 to 10,000 people.
Yeah. And I think everyone was prepared. Like the police officers, like they knew it wasn't going to be 50 people. You know?
I mean, especially at that time, right after COVID, and then people were just angry. Obviously, like you know.
Yeah, and I'm laughing now, of course. Like like the pandemic was real, and you know, all of that. But at the same time, racism is also, you know, lethal. And you know,
it's a form of arrogance, you know, like because you know, I've been trying to like kind of study more about what racism really is. You know, of course, it's very clear. You know, you think you're better than somebody because of how they look or whatever they have, and it's actually, if you think of it, some people like thinking that we can get rid of it.
Yeah.
Do you think we can get rid of it?
That's such a good question. I hope so, but you know, it's not getting me now.
Because it got better. If you think about like the last 50 years ago, 100 years ago, like we have like fought really well to kind of, you know, lowered the amount of racism.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But
it's so like rooted in like everything, you know?
Like in
is that how you say it, rooted, or like it's a part of the system that we're living in, especially like in the Western countries, or like even in Africa, you know.
Yeah.
It's like it's so big, and you know, it really takes time. Yeah,
it does take that, but even like you know, I study Islam a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, and even the way, you know, the word racism doesn't actually exist in the Arabic, you know, language. We call it arrogance.
Yeah.
Jahiliyyah.
Yeah.
So Jahiliyyah is like before Islam existed, because when Islam came, it changed. It gave freedom to people have the right to be free, and you know, women's right and to own property, or just whatever, all the rights of what a human should have.
Yeah.
And you know, this goes back to the story of Adam, which is the first man, and Iblis, which is the devil.
Yeah.
And when God created Adam, you know, nowadays people have the thing of saying Adam was a black man as well. But so when God said in the Quran, like everybody should bow down to Adam. So Iblis was a jinn that existed in, like, was living with the angels. And when all of them bowed, Iblis refused to bow. So in the verse in the Quran, it says istakbara. It means that he had arrogance in him. So that arrogance was the fact that he said, am I going to bow down to someone that you created from clay? And even the verse said, like hama in masnoon, black clay. This is actually in the Quran. So you know, we could say that maybe he was black or not, but it's kind of, that's how it kind of started. So it's like a form of arrogance that we have, that we kind of need to kind of get rid of, you know, like that's what it is. Because you thinking you're better than another person. If you think about it, it's an arrogance.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a form of arrogance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's something that needs to really, like, we need to, like, either the next generation or like how we educate our children to not look at somebody or think they're better than them. And I mean, it's disgusting,
it
if
really
you think
is
about it.
Definitely.
Yeah. And people are getting more angry. You know? People are getting more angry.
Of course.
Yeah. But so you said you went through like all these the threats, and how did you handle all these things? Like,
I think
were
at
you
first,
afraid? Like,
yeah, I was. I was so scared because I was like, a lot of, and I think like a lot of female like politicians or like female activists, they're more, of course, vulnerable to this kind of thing. And especially in Sweden, like Sweden has a history of, we have a lot of organized racism here, or like
what?
Yeah, a lot of like Nazi groups, a lot of, the second largest party in our like, how do you say, parliament is rooted in
Nazism.
Yeah, exactly.
Nazism.
Yeah.
Is it Nazism?
Yeah. They're Nazis.
Yeah.
So, I was super scared, of course, because, I received letters from people who were in jail, It was just massive. And I don't know if there's like an online forum called Flashback.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of known for racist people. And it was like, threads of me on Flashback, they were leaking my personal information, my like journals from the hospital, and writing stuff about my family. It was just massive.
So they wanted to like attack you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they called my work, or like, how do you say, I wasn't working where I work now then, but like they called my boss, they called, they just wanted to, destroy my life.
Get rid of you.
Yeah. They called my mom, they called my sister. It was just crazy.
Why would they call your mom?
I don't know, because they were like, oh, your daughter did this, your daughter is this, your daughter is that. Because my mom, she works within, like, she's a social worker, but she has like a higher position.
Okay.
And she works with like especially elderly people, so old people. And she, I don't know how to explain it in English, but yeah. And I think like a lot of, like I said, a lot of people, who are outspoken and who are political involved, they get like, this is a part of it, to get threatened or to get,
Yeah. Now, how did your mom, like, did you ever had a conversation with your mom?
Yeah,
or your dad?
of course. It was just like, we had to, of course I had to report all of these stuff to the police. And I had to change my number. I think we went out, like we didn't want to be home, because I was like, because in Sweden there's something called like offentlighetsprincipen, who is like, you can Google someone and you can find their address, so I think we went like out on the countryside for a while, because I was like, I don't want to be home, because I don't know if someone pulls up, and all of that. And I mean, I think because this was in the middle of the pandemic, I think it got like even worse with the hate and the threats, because people was like, you're like, you'll see now people are gonna die in COVID because you and your friends did this,
because of the amount of people that
showed up.
Oh,
Exactly.
come on.
You're not welcome here, go back home, as if I...
To where?
Exactly. It was just crazy. And I think at the time, of course, I was scared, but I think how do you say? I didn't really deal with it, I was like, okay, but, we need to do this, we need to do that. And then I just got back to my life and, didn't really think about it. But then like a year after... everything got back to me, and I just, you know, and I just got super depressed, super anxious, super, you know.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really bad. So yeah.
But I think for such a young age, for you to even have the bravery to do something like that, like that's why I asked, like, how do you even start a movement?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're humble and you're a very down to earth person. I don't know you very deeply inside, but I can already tell what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've seen the other people that are doing the Black Lives Matter movement in America. They've been even going through similar issues as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know where you're going with the Black Lives Matter. Is this something that you're planning to continue doing, or is it?
I don't know, because
or
it's not over. I wouldn't say it's over, because it's not over until, you know, everyone's free. But I think me and like my platform, like BLM Stockholm, I'm not doing like I did a protest not that long ago, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not really something because it was just so big, and it was just very, very draining with the whole, you know, threats and hate and all of that. So yeah, I've put it a bit on the ice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because recently, like when I was going to interview you, I was doing a lot of research about the Black Lives Matter, but mostly with the other people. Well, actually, not even research. It just basically came in my feed or whatever.
Yeah.
And there haven't been a lot of good things that's going on with them.
Exactly.
I don't know whether you know about that, or what do you think about what's happening? Like,
I haven't been that, like, I'm going to be honest, I haven't been that, like, how do you say? Into it, or like involved, or like, you know, because I just hadn't, I don't have time, you know.
Busy girl.
But I've read some, and of course, like, it's, I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say, but this girl, Candace Owen, do you know her? Yeah, she made a movie. I meant to watch it yesterday, and it's kind of crazy, you know, like, I support the Black Lives Matter, you know, that phrase itself, because our lives do matter less in the world, which is very true. Yeah. But the people who are organizing those things, you know, that's what we need to look like when we talk about role models, you know, like the people we follow. Yeah. And people like you, I feel like, of course, like you said, you're getting tired. It's very difficult, but we need people like you to do these things, because it's hard to find really genuine, good human being who really care about. Because the way I see it, I don't know the 100% facts. I've watched the film, but I'm not a person that's very fast on just believing something. You know, I really think about it, put it in, and see if this is true or not. If it's authentic.
And the way I see it is like they're only using it for their own benefits. You know, it was like they sold the George Floyd's face. You know, whether he was not really a good person, or whether he was a good person, it doesn't really matter. But the way they sold it to make it such a big thing and make so much money of it, and never really put it back into the community. Yeah. Then what's the point? You know,
definitely. I don't stand behind that at all. And I think, like, because here, like, we're not really, or like, we aren't connected to the movement in the US, other than, like, we have the same name, like Black Lives Matter, and we did the whole thing in solidarity with George Floyd. So and I think, like, overall, within like, how do you say, not only the Black Lives Matter movement, but like movements overall, there's always these kinds of issues, you know, people using other people's, you know,
taking advantage of,
of their position.
Exactly.
So I don't think that's unique for just the Black Lives Matter movement. I think that's within any organization. And it's really sad. Yeah. It really is.
Because we suffered a lot, you know, like, you know, I personally didn't, but like,
and the least thing we need is that.
We don't need people who are like using our name or our, you know, even though they're black as well, but the way they take the name and take the people suffering and use it make money from it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
So so you said you're gonna pause. Like, so with the threats that was it happening to your friends as well, or was it just?
No, it was just me.
Yeah.
And I think it was because I was the one, who did the most interviews, and I was,
You were the face, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really happy that they didn't come for my friends. I really am, because or of course, it was hard for me, but I never want anyone else to go through what I went through. It was horrifying. But I handled it, and I'm good now.
You did great.
Thank you.
You're doing great. Like, I look up to you. That's one of the reasons why I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
When I made a list of people that I want to talk to, and I'm still sticking to my list, and I'm like, I gotta talk to these people because. And funny, I was kind of nervous talking to you. Yeah. Because I was like, she's going to be like maybe the most challenging one for me.
No.
No, because I'm such an overthinker. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, like
when I talk to somebody, I think about so many different ways of how we can communicate.
Yeah.
And my English is not great as well.
I think it is. It's better than mine.
You studied Did you ever study English?
Yeah, of course. In school.
I didn't.
No.
I never went to English school.
That's crazy.
I studied Arabic.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're like self-taught.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to read books and all these things.
That's good.
Yeah. So how's your education like? Like what's the future for you right now? Like what's the plan? Like are you gonna become the Prime Minister of Sweden, or are you gonna go to Gambia and become president?
I don't know, man.
I'm aiming high for you.
Thank you so much.
So high.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I did study, and I'm done with that for now, but I feel like I maybe want to study again.
Wait, so what did you exactly study? Like what did you do?
It's so hard to translate to English, but it's kind of like social science.
So, okay.
But more like, I don't know how to explain it, but so I can work with people or like marginalized groups, and like
is it all about
it's a social worker degree?
Okay.
So I'm a social worker, but like when I say social worker, I think people who aren't from Sweden is gonna think I do. I don't know. I don't know how to explain, but I have that I did, but I don't know, man. I think I want to be a journalist. I'm not sure. Yeah, wow. I'm not sure. We'll see.
I mean, why not? I mean, I think like with wherever you're going, because you're doing a lot of activism, obviously.
Yeah.
I feel like as much education and knowledge you have, because if you're going to that world as well, it's such a controversial world nowadays,
definitely.
and you have to kind of be armed with a lot of information and a lot of knowledge, plus with who you are as a person. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm just,
a little bit tense.
I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, feel free, relaxed. I mean, don't.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, feel free. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
No stress. But I feel like you have to really educate yourself with as much as you can, with whatever, because
definitely
it's very important with. If I were to really do anything, I would probably do something like that. We'd have to do with activism. I'm just very bad at starting to do something.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, like example, this is a start with this podcast.
Yeah,
thing,
of course. And it's great.
Yeah, and I'm trying to educate myself with everything, with all different type of religion, different type of people, information, just to know. Because
that's so good. Because no one can like ever take that from you, your knowledge and your education. So yeah. But school hasn't always been easy for me. I have ADHD. I don't know if you know that.
No.
But so school, I've always been struggling in school. But and it's not like, because I know I'm smart, but it's just smart. Like thank you. But it's just like concentrating and stuff that has been hard. So school hasn't always been obvious to me. Yeah. So I'm really like happy with myself that I did this, that I went to school.
It's crazy, the fact that you're ADHD and you managed to be doing all these things. You have 10,000 freaking people gathering. Like and manage to handle all these threats and all these things. You're brave and you're very strong.
Thank you.
And what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger.
Definitely.
You know? So like, I understand what you have. It can be tough. I don't know how it feels, but it's like, you know, it's only gonna make you stronger. You know, because anything as well that you can fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. It shouldn't be like, you know, I understand you have it, but you know, at the same time, it's like, you're focused with whatever you're doing. You're pushing yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's like kind of signature, like when it comes to ADHD, like when I find something that I like and that I'm passionate about, I do it 100%. Like 100%. Yeah. But like when it comes to, you know, studying classes that I don't like, that's just, I
mean, it should be usually like usually even for me, like when I'm not very interested in something, like I can't, you know, focus on it. Like, so it's like that. So, you know, with all the activism, the Black Lives Matter, there must be somebody who you were before all these things. Like how was it growing up? Like not only in Sweden, but like how was your childhood? Like what was the inspiration? Like, you know, what was your goal to be like, you know?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have like a specific answer to that, but I think like, you know, I grew up here, in Sweden with my mom, with my sister and my dad. My mom and my dad separated when I was 4 maybe. But, you know, I've always met my dad and, you know, I've seen him on weekends.
He's fun.
Yeah, he is. Definitely.
He calls me almost every day.
Yeah, is it?
Calls me every day.
Of course he does. Yeah, so, you know, I grew up with my siblings here and, you know, and like I said, school was really tough. But I've always, you know, had an interest for like the world and stuff that's going on and, you know, injustices. And I think that's just like a trait I have in my personality. Like I've always been very interested in those kinds of things. But yeah, what did I do?
People's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with like, you know, knowing that, you know, in Sweden is a white country and, you know, I don't look the same as my friends, you know. It's just something, you know, like my mom never told me, of course she didn't, like you're different, but I just knew because that's how it is.
And did you ever had problem with like dealing with your identity? Like,
but not, probably, but not like, I don't know. Yeah,
so you just knew.
Yeah. But I always had, you know, like I said, my older sister, she was like my biggest idol when I was a kid. You know, she's 8 years older than me. She's always, you know, and she's always been so interested in our black side and, you know, going to Gambia in an early age and, you know, listening to black music and even like my dad was a DJ, you know. Listening to reggae and dancehall in the house at home, you know. So it's always been there and it's always like been a part of me. True. Of course.
Your culture is very strong.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that when did you meet Beyonce? I saw that.
I was I 16 or 15?
Yeah.
I think. And that was also like, you know, my older sister Zainabo, she introduced Beyonce to me and the Destiny's Child and, you know, the Spice Girls and, you know, all of that she was listening to. And I think, I was 15 or 16 and Zainabo brought me to a Beyonce concert. And, you know, me with my ADHD, I've always, you know, no filter, talking to everyone, you know, just all over the place.
You don't seem that way sometimes. You seem
I know.
So chill back.
I feel like I've outgrown it a bit. Like, you know, when you get older, it gets better. But, you know, as a youth or as a kid, I was just, you know, talking. I was kind of like Fato, you know, talking a lot, you know, very moody, you know, happy 1 second, sad the other, you know, just up and down, you know. Super curious, but Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we was at this concert, and I I saw this guy, and I think he had like a crew shirt on, like it said crew or like Beyonce crew, and I was like, oh, this is my opportunity. I need to talk to this guy, because we had normal tickets, but then I went up to this dude, and he was black, and I was like, oh, okay, a black dude, he wears like a staff or crew t-shirt, he must be a part of Beyonce's team, So I just went up to him, and I was like, hi, my name is Ibbi, this is my sister, and we only have like the regular tickets, do you think you can get us up in the VIP section, And he was like, yeah, girl. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'll be back, Yeah. He was like a proper American.
Oh.
So yeah, and then there was like, how do you say? Like the people who performs before the artist.
Yeah.
Like opening.
The opening people, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They were doing their thing on the stage, and then, Beyonce was just about to go on stage, and I was like, oh, okay, he's not coming back. He's not going to help us,
Aww.
And then he came back, and he was like, yo, girl, look, I got you VIP tickets.
A lot of people don't do that.
I know. It was crazy. It was crazy. So we got to go to the VIP section, and it was just like next to the stage, and it was like the same. It was like I was standing on the stage. So
Did you sing or like what song was you sing?
I think it was Halo by Beyonce. And, she just passed the mic to me, and I was singing. It was just weird. It was crazy.
I told my wife, and she was like, she didn't know that it was actually you, but she knew that there was a 15-year-old girl that sang with Beyonce, and because she loves Beyonce, she was so mad. I'm like, I didn't know, because the funny thing is, I think I Googled you, and then I think that's one of the first things I saw. But I didn't even read the article. I just saw it. I was like, oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was me, and that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was that was such an ADHD moment, man,
And it was great. You got to sing with Beyonce.
Loved being center of attention, Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's amazing. And that's good. I think you're gonna do well, and you're gonna do great.
Yeah.
I think you should just continue doing what you're doing, and just aim really high. And are you still DJing, by the way?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I haven't been for 2 years, I think. And it was also just like, it wasn't like a decision I made like on a day. It just,
you just
came naturally.
It just came. But was it like a hobby? That was just something that you just liked to do? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I started when I was in high school. I went to this like 8-week DJ class or DJ course.
Oh, really?
With my friends. Yeah.
I learned to virtual DJ.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I remember I wasn't very good in the beginning, so I went to this party in Saudi.
It's just like Jamil.
Yeah,
he did the same thing on the little app.
Yeah, but the thing with Jamil, he's like he had the opportunity to learn in a pandemic, because. But for me, I went to a party in Saudi, which was like one of the first parties I went to in Saudi, because it was very hard to find parties.
Yeah.
And me and Jibril Salah was actually there, and they gave me the aux to play. And when I was just because of my music selection, the guy was like, "You're a DJ." I was like, "Yes, I am a DJ. Why not?" He's like, "Come back next week." I love that. They will let you through the gate because they had these villas. Yeah. I hope the Saudis don't come and get me. They had these villas that only foreigners can go in. Like Saudis are not allowed there.
Yeah.
So I came back. Well, I went the whole week. I went to virtual DJ, and I learned just how to try to mix a song. Yeah. But then it didn't really work. So I ended up stealing other people's music that were already completed. So I would just come, and then I'll like literally. This is the definition of fake it until you make it. But it didn't work obviously after, so I kind of had to learn how to actually do what's it called? What's the app called? The other one you have to connect with the mixer.
Serato,
exactly. Yeah, I downloaded Serato.
Yeah.
And I will borrow my friend's mixer, and then like I'll practice from there. But it was completely like done from the computer. I have a video. I'll show you later. It was crazy.
Great,
and I was making money, and it was really good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
You should start doing it here, man.
Yeah, Jamil actually gave me a mixer, but he just needs to fucking. Can you please send it, please? He just
please, Jamil, send it.
Yeah. Do you have a mixer?
No, I don't. I actually left it with Tijan in London.
Oh, in London.
Yeah. So it's there.
Oh, Tijan, I haven't talked to him for a while.
I actually spoke to him the other day. He was asking me when I'm going to Gambia.
Yeah.
So I told him.
So how many times have you been to Gambia actually?
2.
2 times. What do you think of Gambia?
I love it, man.
Yeah.
It's whole.
Why haven't you ever been like that much? Is it?
I think it's because I mostly stayed with my mom growing up, and it is also like it's been expensive to go to Gambia, and it just didn't happen. Yeah. And I think like growing up, my dad didn't go that often. I think.
Yeah, I think it was it took time before your dad was going that much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, when we were kids, he didn't go. So we didn't go. But I think it was the same for Sena, but she didn't go as much when she was like a young kid. Like when she got a bit older and saved up her own money, she went, and I did the same thing. I think the first time I went was 2016 or 17.
I think I remember.
Yeah. I came to your house.
Yeah, but you didn't stay very long.
Exactly.
Didn't you DJ in Aqua as well or something? What was
I was supposed to, but I think I didn't.
Oh, okay,
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was only there for a week the first time. Because it was like I was still in school, and I just had like spring break or something. And I had saved up my own money to buy a ticket and go. So that's what I did. And then the second time, it was the year after, I think, 2018, 2019. Yeah. I was there for about 2.5 weeks with my friend. Then I saw you as well.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So that was the last time I was in Gambia, and that's 4 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago, yeah.
I love going back home. It's just there's a lot of issues that are going on right now with the country. But I guess it's just everywhere in the world right now.
Yeah.
But it's just so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I need to get into like Gambian politics and like,
you should
more.
I swear you should. Like we need people like you, I mean, it gets a little bit hard because, Gambia, we have a problem with the tribalism issues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like growing up, I didn't go through racism,
No, yeah.
But, and racism, it's not only because, actually when I say racism, it's not only how you kind of interpret it, like a white person saying things to me, but even black on black.
Yeah, of course.
But there it's so normalized, kind of, like being Fula or being Mandinka and all these things. People make jokes. I remember when I was young, they used to call me Honha Nopa. Like I had red ear because I was very light skinned.
Yeah.
So like Fula people were like so light skinned. But I guess nowadays, if you say that to a person, they feel really offended.
Yeah, of course.
But back in the day, that was never really an issue. But only those kind of issues that are happening in Gambia, the tribalism issue, or maybe this one is Fula, or they shouldn't run, or they shouldn't be here, or they're too light skinned to run, all these little things. But apart from that, like you can really get into it, because women are really like doing very well in Africa overall.
Yeah.
They're doing very well, and why not? Start your own TV company or
something
radio show or like something just to, or even just teach the basic things for women, like what the girls need. Yeah, because it's so, I feel like it's so male dominated in a certain way. Of course the culture and the religion is always going to be there, and that's something I feel like we have to respect. Because I feel like so many people, they come in and they want to change that completely, be like, oh, we need to remove this. But if we really learn the Islamic way of how women and men should live together or how to be, you would actually see like we are so equal to everything. Whether it's owning a property, whether it's who's supposed to cook and who's not supposed to cook. Because for me, I don't like those things. You know what I mean? Like we need to show the woman that it's okay for you not to clean the house all the time or to cook all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
The Prophet used to help his wives and all these things, but the men there, it's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm saying it,
and it's not only Gambia, it's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of countries that are, at least a lot of African countries, Arab countries, even in Asia as well, it happens. And what I hate is when they said, especially when they're Muslim. I can't talk for other people who are not Muslim, but for the Muslim community at least, or believers, they need to really learn how to deal with these things. For me, the way I show my wife love is like I cook, I clean, and all these things.
Yeah.
But because I live here too, I can't expect her to do those things.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly,
I mean? And
definitely.
Yeah. So we have to really like talk about these things. And
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you start with things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah. Or we should team up or something.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's do it.
To team up or do it.
I swear. Let's do it.
But I mean, I think we talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Non-stop. I was like blah 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 blah.
Nah. It's good. It's always good. But just one thing. How do you think as a society, like, where do you think the world is going right now? Like, with everything, with war, with racism, with people's right to live how they want to live. Like,
I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better. So yeah, that's my take on it. And I think someone told me that not that long ago. I can't remember who. But I spoke to someone about like just politics and because in Sweden now we have like a right wing government and everything is just right wing and racism.
The right is the conservatives, or
exactly.
I don't know anything about the conservatives and the liberal things. I don't understand.
No. So we have like, it's just racists, really, man.
Yeah.
That's
for you. That's your main focus.
My progressive opinion, but because I'm very left. I'm very red socialist.
Like liberal thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Not even liberal, because I feel like it's hard, because like, I don't know how to explain it, but Swedish politics and like American politics are so different.
Okay.
So like the liberals in the US,
and it's not the same.
It's kind of the conservatives here.
I'm confused.
It's very, very messy. But yeah, I don't feel like Sweden right now is going in the right direction. So yeah, we'll see.
So would you get into the politics then? Or you would do it in journalism?
I've been thinking about it, and I've been asked that question a lot recently, because I have a lot of I know a lot of people that's in the politics and that's in the parties and in the parliament, that's asking me like, oh, you should join, you should start getting involved in more like party politics, because I'm very political and I speak on political stuff, but I'm not involved with like a specific political party.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
I mean, why not?
How it goes.
Why not? Like,
yeah. But to answer your question, I don't know. I wish I had a good answer to that, but I swear I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I try to be hopeful, and I have faith in humanity, but it's not really looking bright.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get worse, because even the prophet said it. Like, end of times. I feel like we're end of times.
Yeah.
It's only gonna get worse. This has all been predicted for like a long time. It's been in the Quran. It's been in a lot of other religious texts. And one thing about me, I'm a religious person, or I'm trying to be at least. Yeah. But I am so in, like, I look at everything, whether it's any kind of subject or any type of religion, I like to learn, and if I would ever get into something, I think it would be a benefit for me, but like how will I say it, to like just to kind of have the enough education and the enough knowledge, to go to, because I feel like as humans nowadays, with the party thing, everybody just believes in one thing, but they don't look at, that we follow so much of our desires, of what we think how life should go based on our own needs and desires.
Yeah.
And I feel like this world is so much bigger than us, you know, like, you know, I know some people don't believe in God and all these things, but I feel like, you know, we should just, there's so many people that are like, that you know, they come and talk about so many things, but I feel like they don't even have the enough information or the enough education. You know, people always open their mouth and talk about things they're not sure about because they don't like to look weak. You know, they say study without thinking is blindness. And thinking without studying, it's dangerous. You know what I mean? So and there are certain people, whether it's right, whatever they're trying to achieve, and I feel like some people are like, you know, especially I would even say America. Here I don't know so much, but the way things are going with now people having their freedom of choice and all these other things, it's like some people are rooted to kind of just watch the world not do so well because they are like slave to their own desires of their personal needs on how they want things to go. You know, but you know, people like you know, like I said, I don't know you deeply much, and you know, we will get to know each other more. Hopefully, we'll do another podcast as well more.
Definitely. And
this kind of
so fun.
You know, and for me, like what I want, like overall, is for us to be able to have certain conversations. That are, whether it's even arguments, but we can disagree to agree on certain things, but we manage to be able to live in the same society. Well, now the issues are, if you're not right or left, or whether this, like you said, now I'm confused because you're telling me here it's so different than in America and all the other countries. So it's like, if people are not agreeing with what your like laws or rules are, people don't even want to talk to you, or they'll cancel you, or like with you're trying to do a certain, whether the Black Lives Matter, they're trying to shut you down, or you know, like all these things. Like for me, it's just disgusting, you know. And
definitely. If
we don't learn how to be one society, like one species, I would say. I feel like if aliens come, like you would have other, this country would want to side with an alien to kill other. It's like, you know, can we just get along? You know, like,
definitely.
Whether we disagree even, we just need to just get along. You know what I mean? But and hopefully we will get to that one day with people like you. Definitely.
I hope so too.
Yeah. But I'm glad we did this.
Yes, me too. Dude, this was so fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.